Hi, I'm Allison with FlickDirect, and I am here with Jean Reno and David Schurmann.
Yes.
Sorry, David Schurmann. We're here to talk about My Penguin Friend. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Are you
Good.
I'm good, thank you. David, tell me where you first learned about Dindim and why you wanted to tell this story.
Well, I first heard because I live in Brazil, and this is a true story, and it went viral. Everybody knew about the story, and it was amazing that when I got invited to direct the movie, the production company saw that I had a background in the ocean. I was raised in the ocean, and a connection to this natural world. And they had watched my previous films and said, "Well, this guy can touch hearts, and maybe it'll be a good fit." And when they told me it was about Dindim, I said, "This is perfect. I love telling these stories, especially based on true life. This is a true story and a very simple story and a very deep story. So it was a natural fit for me."
And Jean, how did you get involved with it? And what did you think when you read the script and heard the story?
I was happy to do something different. I always try to do something different. I don't want to do always the same. I know that I've done a lot of killer people, a lot of cops also. Yeah, but in a different way. And so I was happy. I told my kids, I'm going to work with the penguin, and they were, "What? A penguin?" I said, "Yeah. I don't know where I'm going." I didn't get the relationship, the real relationship of the real one, the real fisherman and the real penguin. And doing it, I think it's the best way.
Yeah.
Before to do a movie, let's read the script and let's jump into the story. And jumping into the story, doing it, you understand if it's profound or not. And I swear to God, days after days, the penguin became a companion.
It's true. It was amazing that I went to Jean's summer house in the south of France to hand him the script, and try and convince him to come and do this picture, because it was something so different. But I could see, Jean is in that level, obviously, of acting, that him just looking at the penguin speaks volume, and especially with this character, that's a character that's so lonely. And it was absolutely beautiful. And he was so generous that he came 3 weeks before we started shooting to be part of this.
Let's talk a little bit about the penguin, because you show swimming in the water. You show his point of view.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from, and why was it an important aspect of the movie for you?
Well, I wanted to make sure that this was not a documentary, so it's not a nature documentary. And to do that, as a director, I wanted to frame the penguin as an actor. So to frame the penguin as an actor, you have to get to his level. You have to get into his mind, and his point of view. I did not want to be just from a human perspective of telling the story, but also from a penguin perspective. What is this penguin feeling? How is his adventure within this movie? So it was a bold choice to be able to do that, and risky as well. And so I was really happy that everybody, agreed upon. And we had a brilliant DP, which is Anthony Dodd-Mento. And we sat down and I said, how are we going to shoot this penguin not so it doesn't look like a nature documentary, that we've seen, in beautiful films like the March of the Penguins. And he said, well, we have to get right close to it. And when you get close to a penguin with the camera, it runs away. So then we had to put treadmills, so the penguin would walk on a treadmill. We had to invent and create different ways. Put cameras on the back of a penguin when he's swimming. That's actually real images. And then obviously with digital, it also helped with the migrations and things like that. So it was a great challenge. But I wanted people to feel maybe what it was like to be the penguin itself, and not just, us filming the penguin. It's him looking at us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question very quickly. What's the weirdest thing you learned about penguins while making this movie?
They like to be among themselves. We had always 3 or 4 on set, because after each take, he used to go to his companion and stay like this and feel the other one against it. Yeah. So they somehow, they have a little what we have. They like to be with people.
And I think for me was that the penguins are so tough. You know, we look at them as
that's
very
true.
gentle and maybe romanticized,
tough.
but they're very, very tough. They swim far away. They have, you know, these wings that are strong. Their feet are strong. Their beak is sharp, you know, very sharp. I mean, you don't handle the penguin well, he will let you know.
Yes, completely.